Hello, hello, hello. It's not where we start, ladies and gentlemen. It's where we finish. I'm Anthony Gafa, and you're watching Unfiltered with Gafa. Finding that broker who can find a deal that's 0.25% better than all of the other brokers, that's a thing of the past. That's a crock of shit. Find a broker that can get the job done, get the deal across the line so you can get into the property market. So we covered off how to go above and beyond to try and get your deposit together. Well, not even try and get that deposit together, but nailing that deposit. We worked out it's not as hard as what we think. Is it time to start looking for a house now? Is it time to determine whether we go for an apartment or a house? And by buying a property, what can we do to enhance the value or enhance the rental returns? My advice is slow down. You're not at that point yet. Yeah, sure. If you've got spare time and you're passionate about property, you can start looking at properties and show an interest. But don't put the cart before the horse. It's now time to engage a broker. So what is a broker? Keeping it simple, option one is I go around to 8 banks, go door knocking, walk into the bank or go online and apply for loans to 8 different organisations or more. My other option is I can contact a broker. At their fingertips, they have readily available the lending criteria, the interest rates, the fees, the charges. They put in your scenario into their calculator and they give you the best option possible. The broker works for the borrower and delivers the best options from the lending institution to the person wanting to secure finance. So he's the middleman. The broker is the middleman between the person wanting to invest and the lending institutions. Not only is he the guy that's going to deliver the best options possible, provided they are working in your interest, he's also the guy that's going to do the running around, the chasing up of the documents, understanding what you need, requesting that information, and delivering it to the financial institution that best suits your requirements. But Anthony, my mum uses this broker and my grandmother used this broker as well. I want to use it because it's family tradition. Well, now it's time to go against the grain. You need to select a broker that understands what you need, not what your grandmother needed, not a family friend. This is a commercial decision. You need to select a broker that's best suited to you, not your grandmother. No referrals. Find out the broker that really understands what you need and can deliver what you want. Do you go to the bank and go direct? Or do you go to a broker? My advice is, especially for your first house or property, whether it's a house or an apartment, engage with a broker. Let them do all the work. You're paying a broker for a reason. Well, in actual fact, the banks are paying the broker. So let them earn their money. Ensure that the broker has got multiple options with different banks and lending institutions. And given your circumstances, you may be going to a second or third tier lender. So make sure they have all those options at their fingertips. One thing I will always encourage, make sure you ask that broker what access they have to the Big Four. You don't want them to favour one particular bank because they're getting bigger commissions or they only have access to one of the larger banks. You need to ensure the best deal is presented to you. It's not about lining the broker's pockets with the best commission they receive from a particular bank or lending institution. It's ensuring they've got all the options on the table that will service you as an individual and get you the best deal possible. Make no mistake, they're entitled to commission. Make them work for it. Make no mistake, they're not doing this for free. Make no mistake, they're going to get a trail commission, but let them. But just ensure they have access to 2 or 3 of the big banks, and make sure they're working for you, not for the bank, because you need the best deal possible. On your journey, your broker will need to adapt to your requirements, because when you're starting out, they should be focused on your borrowing capacity, because you don't have a proven track record. You are new to market. So being able to borrow as much money as possible, or as much money as you can afford initially, should be their focal point. Getting into the market and paying a little bit more in your interest rate, it's probably not going to be a big deal, because you just want to get into the market. Back in the day, the biggest thing was overviewing your loans, support. But this day and age, given everything is online, banks now know that applying for a refinance is just at the press of a button. So the support from your broker does tend to fade away, in my opinion. Constantly reviewing your loans, well, depends on your strategy. Yeah, of course, you don't want to pay overs. You want them to do the right thing and earn their keep, earn their money. But for the most part, they want to continue to do the right thing and apply discounts, because they want to keep you. Don't become complacent. Keep an eye on your loan and ask your broker to keep an eye on it also. But understanding where you want to go in your investment journey is really important. Don't be afraid to ask questions like, can I get my fees waived? Can I get the valuations done at no cost? These are the type of things you need to be able to ask your broker, and make sure they've been there and done that before, because you're not here to be their first customer. You want an experienced campaigner who's going to hustle for the best deal for you. A good broker will get the best deal on the table. And if you are an astute investor and you want to go around for that second property, you've built that rapport. The broker knows you as an individual. The broker knows your capabilities, and they can give you advice on what you need to do to get that next deal together. But let's go back a step. Let's focus on the first one first. What do I need from my broker? A good relationship, they say. We must have good chemistry. We must be able to understand each other and work well. That's a crock of shit. The chemistry when it comes to getting the right broker. What you need to focus on is who can give you the best deal. Don't worry whether you like him or not. Look, you're not going to deal with someone that you can't talk to, but you need to deal with someone that's commercially savvy and has got your best interest at heart, not someone you want to go and eat pizza with. It's very much the same principle I adopt when buying a house or a property, whether it's a house or commercial site. I don't really care who's selling it to me. And a lot of the times we clash. But if that's the best deal on the table, it's exactly where I want to buy, it's the property I want, I'm not here to make friends with the real estate agent. Sure, by having a relationship with them, you might get a little bit of inside knowledge. But I want to make it clear, I'm not here to buy a property from an agent that I like. I'm here to buy a property from an agent who offers the best deal for me. Whoever's got the best properties. So don't go burning the bridges because you still want them to give you information. But it's all about you buying the best property regardless of the agent that puts that property on the market. Going back to selecting a broker. So the point I'm trying to make is you're making a commercial decision to ensure the broker's got all the best deals. The broker's got a number of the big banks. The broker is astute. And when it comes to finalizing that deal, they'll tell you everything you need to know. When it comes to timing, The timing is now. So you might only have a part of your deposit. Let's just say your deposit's $50,000 that you need to secure your first property. Having $10,000 or $20,000 of that $50,000, you're not quite halfway. But getting the right broker that understands you, that has the best options available, that you can work with, it's not going to happen in 15 minutes. You may have to qualify 5 or 6 different brokers. You may want to see one in person. You may want to just deal with somebody who's just online or over the phone. So my advice is, if you've done the right thing and you're already focusing on that investment journey, a broker is going to be the most vital person that you will need. So start having those conversations. See if they are invested in you. Let them know. Have the conversations around, I've currently got 20,000. My target's 50. I'm 3 or 4 months off, 5, 6 months off. But I want to understand exactly what I need from the banks, because the documentation can take a little while. I want to know the numbers I need to hit. A good broker will give you guidance. You may think your salary is sufficient. You may think not having that second job is important, but a broker might give you some advice. They might give you a shortcut how to get into the property market with a lesser deposit so you can capitalize on growth. A broker may give you some tricks of the trade that'll help you get into that market sooner by potentially leaning on a different type of lender than you thought you were going to use. So you might think you're going to use one of the big 4, for example, and you need to have a $50,000 deposit. Maybe going to a second-tier lender might mean you only need half the deposit. So jumping in early, getting the rental returns, capitalizing on the growth sooner in an inflating market will always be beneficial to the investor. Having those conversations with an astute broker, you have nothing to lose, and you're constantly learning. So talking to 3 or 4 of them, even 5 or 6, you've got nothing to lose. It's like going to an investment seminar. You're learning when you're sitting at the table and talking to a broker. Get that knowledge and embrace it, because you're going to need that knowledge along your journey. This is the best way to learn. Sitting in a room full of 1,000 people trying to sell you properties off the plan, giving their own properties a plug, it's very hard to learn in a scenario like that. You're better off digging deep. Brokers deal with this stuff every day. Not only are you using and abusing them for their finance, you're using them for their knowledge also. Learn as much as you can. Lay different scenarios on the table. Do I need lender's mortgage insurance? How can I get in sooner? Are there any shortcuts? What's the advantages of using one of the big 4 banks as opposed to a second-tier lender? Ask them to set some goals, some targets for you, where you need to get. This will enable you to have a clear vision, to be able to set a goal and strive towards that goal. Getting that deposit is important, but speaking to a broker along that path, along that journey, is more important, because you need to know what you're aiming for. So reach out to your broker, reach out to a second broker and a third, and find out which one works for you, which one fits your requirements when it comes to investing in property. I'm based in Melbourne, and the broker I like is in Queensland. How important is that? It's not going to work, is it? Well, that's not important anymore. As we know, most of the stuff's done online. You're not going to take documents and files to his home. You're going to upload everything. Everything is lodged online. So having a broker in the same block or the same town is not important. Getting the best deal possible is what's important. Using someone that's astute and can give you the best options is what's important. Oh, Anthony, I don't really like the guy. He seems like he's got an attitude. He's a bit arrogant. Doesn't matter. If he can deliver the best deal possible, he's not coming over for dinner. Sometimes if they're cocky, arrogant, they've been there, done that before, well, that's what you want. You want someone that can deliver. You're not here to make best friends. They're not coming over for dinner. Show me the money. You want somebody that can show you the best deal and show me the money. That's what it's all about. Don't get caught up on building a relationship to become besties. The next phase, when you've got 5 or 6 properties, yes, then you might need a commercial manager or a business banker. But at this point, it's about getting into the market any way you can. You need your broker to tell you, Anthony, you need to beg, borrow, steal, do whatever it takes to get that deposit together so we can get into the market as soon as possible. Finding a broker that's as hungry as you are is what's important. Be sure to follow me on I am Anthony Gafa on all my socials, and my podcasts can be viewed on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and all leading podcast platforms.